When I was at school, I was described as a bit of a swot. Don't know about you.
Worse words than that, I'd say. Yeah.
So, if you recall, we left you with some homework in our last video about words, and it was talking about what a swot is.
Yeah. Do you know
So,
what a swot is?
in today's video, we are going to go through that and some other words that we are characterizing as personal descriptors.
Yes. So these are British words that would not be used in the US that we'll explain. So, Susie, can you explain to them what a swot is?
Well, thank you for asking, Paul.
You're very welcome.
So, a swot is mostly somebody, this is probably a school kid calling another school kid a swot, is somebody who's just works really hard, who actually pays attention in class and wants to do well and has a little bit of ambition and plays by the rules. I guess maybe a teacher's pet might be an equivalent over here.
Yeah, I think so.
I
Yes,
mean, they don't need to be liked by the teacher. It's just that they're studious.
Yes, I think that's what that's fair enough estimate. I mean, you would say that from your particular perspective, wouldn't you? Whereas somebody who wasn't particularly studious would say, girly swot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And usually it's in a negative tone, isn't it? You don't call yourself a swot in a nice kind of, haha, I'm a swot, good for me.
No.
Yes, it's more in, like he said, as a bit of a put down.
So the next turn of phrase or word is definitely one you wouldn't have in the USA, and that's toff. He's a right toff, that one. Lord so-and-so is a real toff. And it basically means somebody who's of a higher social station, or think they're a higher social station.
Yeah, so it does stem back to the fact that the UK still has an aristocracy.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a class system there. So somebody who's rich and well off would be a toff.
Somebody who's acting all hoity-toity.
Yeah. Now, there is a distinction, I would say, between a toff and a proper toff.
Yes.
Because your proper toff is your landed gentry who, the ones I've always encountered, are really pretty down to earth. They don't put on any airs and graces. That's kind of the middle ground.
But they can still sound like a toff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I have to say, though, whenever I think of the term toff, I mostly think of males. I don't necessarily call women toffs, even though they are toffs. That might just be me.
Yeah.
I think that's just me.
Okay, next one I'm fielding to you because it's one that you were more familiar with than I am.
Oh, really? It's a term that I didn't know until I moved over to the UK, and I think it was a TV show, wasn't it?
Yes, with Nigel Havers,
who is a bit of a toff.
Who's a toff? Yes.
And that's chancer. So somebody who's a chancer is somebody who is always in a situation working it to their own means.
Kind of like a con man, but not doing it for any, maybe not financial gain, but doing it for increasing their social status or who they know and what's leveraging in a situation.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. It's just like always somebody who is going into every situation, eyeing it up, how they can move it towards their advantage. That's kind of how I would see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next one, again, I didn't hear until I moved to the UK as a child, and that was gaffer.
Yeah. Now, gaffer usually means reference to a boss, but if you look on the credits of a movie that's made in the US, you will have reference to a gaffer.
And I don't know what they do.
And gaffer tape,
is
a thing that is kind of like duct tape, I suppose.
I would say gaffer tape is duct tape. Yes. Yeah.
So it obviously is used here, but whether it's used in the same context, I don't know. Let me know if you know why it's used in the film industry here and not in general use. I don't know.
And I may be wrong here. Please feel free to comment. But I would also think that this was more of a working class term.
I think so.
You wouldn't necessarily.
I'll tug me forelock, ma'am.
I wouldn't have thought you'd go into solicitor and say, take me to your gaffer.
Yeah, yes.
It's more of like if you walk into a building site
or a factory floor or
something like that. It's more of that kind of saying. Mm-hmm. This is one that I like to use a lot, this next one, and that is mate. And it just means friend or pal or chum.
Yeah.
But it can be used even if I don't know who you are. So it could be just like, How you doing, mate? Or I sometimes say to you, don't I, like, watch it, mate.
Yes. Now, when I've used this in school situations, students often think that I'm some kind of pirate or something. The fact I'm calling a mate, nothing to do with that.
Yeah, it's just and it's something I think I picked up at university.
Yeah.
When I started to mix with more people than just the people.
Oh, you mean mixing with the common people like
I
me?
am not posh. I'm not a toff. I come from a very working class background.
Uh-huh.
I was going to say amongst the nuns because I went to a
right.
convent school. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Next one.
Next one, I actually quite like this term, but again, I haven't been able to use it quite a lot because people don't know it except
Yeah.
for you, and that is dog's body.
Mm.
And that's kind of a term. I'm trying to think of a US equivalent. It's kind of like a person who is just used to do anything, maybe like a gopher.
A gopher or a fetching and carrying or
Just anything like
general work, labourer, dog's body.
yeah, it's like you're just put upon to do
Does
stuff.
not mean that they have the body of a dog.
No. So it's just if and maybe it could be like in a situation where you see like these important people have a personal assistant who just seem to do everything for them.
A
That would
major
be
domo.
That would be like a general dog's body.
Yeah.
They just kind of do everything, a little bit of everything for that person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Next one is one that doesn't get used in the United States. It's one that's frequent where I come from, and that's nutter, to describe someone who is crazy or mad or
Bit
doing
bonkers.
something stupid.
Yeah. That bloke's a nutter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where that comes from. It is also a quite common name in Lancashire.
That's right. So you actually can literally have somebody whose last name is Nutter.
Yeah.
So when we're saying that bloke's a nutter, we don't necessarily mean that all people with the surname Nutter are mad.
There is a similar word as well, nut job,
Not job,
which means exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
There could be a bit of violence associated with the person who's a nut job as well, I would say.
Yeah. You might want to steer clear of them. So our next one, again, I'm going to find difficult to explain, but the term is gormless.
Yes.
Which, if you're Irish, you might actually say feckless.
Yes.
Mightn't you?
Gormless, I really associate with where I come from. I mean, it's a word that I remember my grandparents using quite a lot.
Yeah.
To describe
So
a person.
Explain it.
Yeah, to describe a person who is a waste of space. That they are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, or they're just slack-jawed, staring off into space.
Also, just a bit useless.
Yes, a bit useless.
Somebody who's just, as you like to say, a waste of blood and bone.
Yes, a colossal waste of blood and bone. Yeah.
Somebody who is just not, doing anything. You're not adding anything. You're not taking anything away. You're just in there in the corner breathing air. That's all you're doing.
And we're not so sure about you doing that. Okay, we're getting near the end of this list, which is
I know we're going quite quickly.
Good. The last two are very similar, though.
Yeah, I
They have
think
similar
this is
connotations, but they are. I would say they are not our generation, probably not our parents' generation,
I'd say
but the one above.
I think the first one is an
Grandparents.
older.
Yeah,
definitely.
it's something that my grandparents would be familiar with, and people of my generation, if you say it, you would associate with one of the characters in the sitcom Dad's Army, and that's a spiv. Spiv is a kind of minor criminal. The connotation I think of is someone who was dealing in black market goods in World War II, so selling nylons, selling chocolate, or things that were on ration, petrol, things like that, selling it on the black market secretly to make money. So they were a bit of a wheeler dealer, trying to make a minor criminal, really.
Yeah, minor criminal, but nothing like
associate,
malicious or violent.
Nothing violent, but supporting a alternative economy, as they would call it today.
And then I'd say a term that is a bit more relevant in our generation, again, partly because of a TV, TV show, which is Only Fools and Horses.
So if you're familiar with that particular sitcom, I mean, they did try to make it in the US with John.
They?
Yeah, John what's he called? The guy from
Leguizamo?
That's the bunny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry if we said that wrong.
Yeah. They had him playing Del Boy Trotter.
Okay. So anyway, Only Fools and Horses is based around East End London, isn't it?
No, it's South London.
Is it South London? Yeah. Oh yeah, Peckham, of course it is. Anyway, so the point is that they try and earn a living by selling things that have fallen off the back of a truck, shall we say?
Yeah.
And they are known as wide boys.
Yeah. So it's a kind of spiv, but in peacetime, I would say.
Yeah, somebody who is doing a bit of what we call wheeling and dealing and ducking and diving.
So if we use the context of that sitcom, he's a market trader officially, but it's where he gets the goods that he sells in the market are dubious, to say the least.
But also, that's not he'll pretend he's an expert in anything if he thinks it's going to make some money.
Yes,
making some money. So so a wide boy, again, it's a term that is difficult to explain if you don't have those sort of cultural references.
Cultural references or context. Should we have the next? Well, what we're going to do with that one as a?
No, I think what we're going to do, because as I said in the first video, we have grouped these words into our own sort of special categories. So we're going to give you a term to think about, which is actually a mild swear word.
Oh, we're going there. Oh, we're going there now.
But I think it's a mild swear word that is used over here in the US as well. But we want to know.
Oh, it definitely is, yes.
Yeah, but we want to know kind of like, we say it's mild, but where you come from, is it more extreme? Like, where on the spectrum would this word
I hope not, because I've
fall
used it in the
for
classroom.
you? I know, I've used it in the classroom as well. It's probably a bit late now, isn't it?
Oh dear. Good job of going back to the UK.
So the word is crap.
Yeah.
And it can mean many different things. But we were kind of wanted to gauge what it means to you before we tell you what it means for us.
Yeah, I must admit. Well, I won't say. We'll keep the powder dry on that one till our next one if we hear back from you.
That's one of his phrases. Keep the powder dry. Do you know what that one means? Anyway, we'll leave it there. So please, if you have enjoyed the video, can you give us a thumbs up? Subscribe so that you can keep learning more of this fantastic language we call English from us. And we hope to see you next time.
Yeah, take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.